Mohamed Irshad.
Honorable Speaker, Mr. Tan Chuan Jin, and honorable members of the Parliament, I support this payment services bill as it will streamline payment services under a single legislation by combining the Payment Systems Oversight Act and the Money Changing and Remittance Business Act, taking into account new developments in payment services and various risks they pose with expanded scope of regulated payment services. It is a very comprehensive, well-considered, globally researched, and above all, publicly consulted and reviewed. The bill commendably sets out to protect Singaporeans in a digitized world. At the same time, the government has been mindful not to immediately overreact and therefore overregulate. They have seemingly found a way to effectively achieve both outcomes. With regards to the bill, firstly, I would like to seek clarification on Section 10 on annual fees of licensees. Are there any guidelines as yet for the prescribed annual fees for the 3 classes of licenses? Secondly, in the consultation paper by MAS, e-money is clearly defined as follows: an e-wallet is funded with e-money. This e-money is denominated in a fiat currency. This is an important distinction from virtual currency, which is defined as any digital representation of value that is not denominated in any fiat currency. In Section 3.15 of the MAS consultation paper, it is mentioned that the full definition of virtual currency and e-money are set out in the proposed bill in Annex B. It refers to an Annexure B in the bill for definition of virtual currencies. However, the Annexure is not to be found in the proposed bill document. Can the Honourable Minister clarify this point? Thirdly, I refer to Section 19 of the bill on prohibition against exchanging e-money withdrawn from payment account for Singapore currency. It seems to be wanting to prohibit exchanging e-money for Singapore currency. It states under Section 19(1)(a) that a licensee that provides an e-money account is to prohibit a customer from withdrawing e-money and exchanging that e-money withdrawn for Singapore currency at any of the licensee's places of business. On this point, can I check why there is a need to exclude an issuer from also doing transactions? For example, if the licensee is a bank and I open an e-wallet with a bank and then 1 year later I want to cash that e-money back out, the provision in this part of the bill seems to be trying to prohibit me from doing just that. Again, I would like to seek further clarification on the intended outcome that this section is trying to achieve. In some jurisdictions, payment service providers are also able to provide loans and credit facilities to customers. This bill explicitly forbids such provisions of services. Is there another proposed bill to cover such businesses in the digital age that will encompass e-money, e-wallets, and virtual currencies, etc.? It is very hard for a specific country to frame regulations in the digital age of global cross-border businesses. I feel some of the legislation falls short of this global consideration. Having said that, once again, it is a commendable start for Singapore, who leads the world in framing such forward-thinking rules of conduct. However, when it comes to innovation, perhaps we can take a leaf from China, specifically WeChat and Alipay. Singapore was at the forefront of digital innovation, especially for financial innovation. So where are we now compared to before? As a financial hub, we need to keep innovating to stay ahead and to compete globally. What is the government's plan to ensure our financial institutions stay creative and innovative? Quoting Mr. Lim Seong Wan, former head of civil service and former president of GIC, he said, to ensure the country's continuing success and survival, Singaporeans need to be a people who embrace innovation and excellence and be prepared to go out of their comfort zone to create a new economic ascent. We need a culture of innovation. The spirit of innovation must be made an integral part of our character and personality as a nation and a society. There should be a deliberate, conscious, national effort to get such cultural transformation across all sectors of society. Startups and innovation have become an integral part of culture in countries such as Finland, Estonia, and Israel. Singapore has to get there and be exceptional in our own ways. This, I believe, should be a cultural change and a mindset change, and not simply a case of encouraging innovation. In Singapore, we are inclined to pile accolades on people who have achieved top grades and got gold medals, and leave others unnoticed and unmentioned. This is a severe cultural challenge for changing values in society to value best efforts as opposed to disproportionately rewarding the super A's and gold medals. There needs to be far more awareness in society on how to notice and nurture the best efforts of others around us. Culture takes time to shape or reshape. It is an intergenerational challenge which needs committed leadership and consistency of effort and behavior and action. Professor Rosabeth Moss-Kanter of the Harvard Business School has pointed out the financial results are a lagging indicator of a company's health. They tell you what you have just done, they don't predict the future. Culture is a leading indicator. Culture predicts the future. She adds that culture is more important in some ways than strategy, and that if you are not thinking about building your culture for survivability and sustainability, then you are not leading. These are strong words, but nonetheless words of wisdom. I believe what Prof. Kanter says of business applies just as much as to nations. Gross domestic product and employment figures are lagging indicators. National culture predicts the course of progress and development of countries. To deal with a future which is uncertain and rapidly changing, a culture of innovation is what Singapore needs to build up to be a nation of enterprise and innovation, especially in today's context, where technology in the world moves too fast. This bill reflects a desire to be innovative, but in a suitably cautious manner. However, the very essence of innovation means much of the innovation may not succeed in the end. We need to be willing to try, to change as we go along, and even to abandon what we started off with. If we are too cautious, we would undermine the innovative spirit itself and fail to promote a widespread national culture of innovation so necessary to propel Singapore ahead. With a word of caution and encouragement, Mr. Speaker, I support this bill.